Hi there, Mikachi here. Today we're going to be doing a book review on Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm going to try my hardest to make this review as spoiler-free as possible because I'm a firm believer that even knowing something like there is a plot twist in the book, then you're reading the whole entire book looking for that plot twist, or thinking too much about simple things, thinking that everything's a plot twist, and it just ruins the whole experience. I think that this book really, you should go into it knowing as little as you can, because I did, and the experience was really good. This book is extremely hard to describe to people without completely ruining what's going on in it. I think I already said this, but I did not read the description on, well, it doesn't really have a description on the back of the book, it just has reviews from authors. But I didn't even go online to look up the description on this book before I read it, and I'm very happy that I didn't, because the description, like for instance on Amazon, gives a lot away, and there's things on there that I read after I read the book, and I'm really glad I didn't know, because it totally would have changed the experience for me. I'm going to give the shortest description ever, and I apologize in advance, but I think it's best for all of you that have not read this book yet. It is basically about a planet that gets attacked and what happens after. Period. It's very short, I know, but trust me, it's better that way. Those of you that are like me and like to look up book reviews after you've already read the book and you want to talk about the book, please leave comments down in the comment section below and we can have a conversation about the book. I think that's how I'm going to do it on my channel, so if you're watching the video will be spoiler free, but what's down below, I can't control what people write, and if you do want to talk to me about the book, you can do it down below. So beware if you don't want things spoiled looking in the comment section. To go over how the book looks, I mean, as I've been holding it for a while now, you can see the cover. I read it without the dust jacket, which is a weird dust jacket, because it's plastic. But it's neat because you can kind of see this cool book through it. I did read the outside of this before I read it, but I didn't understand any of it. But it was kind of cool reading the outside of it first, because as you found it in the book, I was like, oh. I remember reading that on the cover, and I would go back, and it was kind of a neat experience, but it doesn't really spoil much because you don't understand what the heck is going on. So it's a very unique book written in emails, instant messages, interviews, video surveillance, like descriptions of video surveillance footage. I was going to try to show you without trying to spoil stuff. It's things like illustrations, pictures. I'm trying to not spoil stuff here. I mean, there's just some pages where they like have really cool writing styles. I don't know. It's really neat. The book looks really intimidating because it looks pretty thick, but because of the way it's written, it really doesn't take that long to read. For me, it took a little bit longer because I was trying to absorb everything that was going on, so like maybe the first quarter of the book I read pretty slowly because I was trying to like intake everything that was happening, really getting to know some of the characters and things like that, and I kept going back and rereading things, but after I got past the first quarter, I flew through the book. Pros and cons of the book. I wasn't able to come up with much from the con side, but for the pros, I mean, the story was so good and so unique. I really enjoyed it. The way it was written is genius for what it is. It worked out extremely well. I found that the story flowed really well. It didn't take away from the experience. It actually enhanced it to have things in this kind of format. Even if you're not usually into sci-fi type novels, you will really still like this one, because I have read some sci-fi, and I'm very picky with my sci-fi though, and I don't normally look at a sci-fi book and want to read it. It's not my go-to genre, so I really need to like be interested in the story to get into it, and I feel like this book really does that. I mean, for me and for anyone that might not like sci-fi, I still think you'd be able to enjoy it. I was actually pretty emotionally invested in this book. I laughed, I cried literally once. After I read the book, I sat thinking about it for a couple of days. I actually finished it about 2 days ago. Randomly throughout the day, I'll start thinking like, oh yeah, like this is connected to that, and there's kind of at the end you have to like put everything together. I mean, a lot of books do that, but this one in particular I found myself thinking about after the fact. Now, the only cons that I could think of with this book, which they won't be cons for everybody, I know nothing about military jargon and rankings. I just don't. I don't usually watch shows with that type of thing, and I don't know. So, in the beginning, when they were saying certain rankings, I would have to look them up, which I don't think you really necessarily have to know what the rankings are in the military system, because you can still figure out in the story what's going on based on the context. I'm crazy like that, so I had to know, so I looked everything up. There were certain terms, like military terms, I didn't really know what they meant, so I had to look it up. So like I said, it's not really a con, it's just that the beginning took me a little while because I kept looking up certain things or going back to kind of reread certain things to figure out what was going on. Now, on some of the pages, I just want to show you so you know what I mean. There are these things in the corner called briefing notes. Because things are written in instant messenger or instant message form sometimes, they use different names for people. So, I mean, like anyone, like, obviously my name's not Mikachi, but, you know, keep that between us. There sometimes are fake names for people or alternative names for people, and I almost wish they would use those briefing notes in here to remind you who some of those people are when they first introduce new people. Now, as far as characters go, I feel like I kind of went back and forth between liking some of the characters and disliking some of the characters, but it works for the story, and I think that pretty much everyone's going to feel that way with this book, so I don't feel like you need to be in love with the characters to enjoy the plot and enjoy the story. So all in all, I guess you could probably tell I really enjoyed this book. I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. There is an audiobook version for this, which throughout reading this, I knew that there was an audiobook, and I just, for the life of me, cannot figure out how they're going to do an audiobook for this book. And there were many times I was reading this, like, how is that going to work? I don't get it. But I had to know, so I got the audiobook, and I'm going to be listening to it soon because I'm just really interested to find out how they're doing it, and I hear it's done really well. Now, the sequel, I mentioned there is a sequel next month. It comes out October 18th. It's called Gemina. I have no idea if it's going to be in the same format or not, but I did pre-order it, so after that date, I will have another book review based on Gemina. So the next book I'm going to be picking up is Three Dark Crowns by, I think you say her name, Kendara Blake. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. But I got it in my Owl Crate September 2016 Owl Crate box. So after I'm finished reading it, I will put up a review. We will also link the Owl Crate unboxing that I did up here somewhere. So in case you guys want to read it with me and do kind of a book club thing so we can talk about it in my review video, I will put a link down below where you can purchase this book. I will also link the Illuminae book and the sequel to it, Gemina. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked the video. So don't forget to like the video if you liked the video and subscribe if you liked it. And I will see you next time. Bye.